Flow Racing presents the Smart Modified Tour, powered by Pace-O-Matic. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get boiling, and drivers, start your engine!
Well, I burn my rubber on the weekend, fast as I can, and I'm on at the finish line. You can leave me there, 'cause I'm always on the run. Well, we don't go home till the job gets done. Till the job gets done.
It all comes down to this: 5 drivers, 1 race, and a winner-take-all scenario amongst those drivers to decide the championship for the Smart Modified Tour powered by Pace-O-Matic. Hello everybody, I am Bob Dillner, and we are at the famed North Wilkesboro Speedway in North Carolina. 29 modified, 600 horsepower underneath the hood, ready to do battle at this legendary track here today. Those 5 drivers, a lot of pressure on them. At the same time, there are several other drivers that are just hoping to ride the lift into victory lane here tonight. And here are the 5 championship contenders. Carson Lofton with 5 wins this year in the red number 23 car. He's been awfully good, but those 5 wins came in the first 7 races of the season. Since then, a roller coaster situation. Luke Baldwin, 2 wins to his credit, the 18-year-old in the 7VA. And then there's the perennial star, Burt Myers in the number 1. A victory last week at South Boston propelled him into this championship chase in the finale. He's a 3-time series champion. And then you know that name, Ryan Newman, yeah, former Daytona 500 champion, now loves himself some modifieds. 2 wins this year for him in that number 2 machine, and he is hoping to take the Smarty Trophy at the end of this one for the Bankers Life Championship Trophy. Danny Bone out of New Jersey, another driver that could be a Cinderella story here today. 7 straight top 5 finishes for Danny Bone going into this race here. Another member of our pit crew team here is Derek Pernasiglio, and he has been mingling amongst the championship contenders all day. Having a little difficulty with Derek's mic. We'll get that sorted out, but there you see some of the cars actually starting to pull out onto the racetrack. Alongside of me in the booth is David Katz, and David was with me at South Boston Speedway last week. We're going to be talking all about the racing here tonight, but let's go downstairs once again to Derek.
Yeah, we've got that microphone problem fixed now, no problem. But after talking with modified drivers today, the entire top 5 in points, they said the same thing. We're all here just to win the race. That's the main goal. There is no strategy. The only strategy here is to go out and go for everything, all the marbles. So everyone that is in the top 5 tonight in the points, they've all got the same plan, and that's win. But as you and I both know, there can be only one winner. We're going to find out what happens when the green flag flies.
Hey, Derek, let me ask you this. Did you get a chance to speak to anybody before they climbed behind the wheel of their race cars here tonight?
I did. I had a chance to talk with Matt Hirschman. I had a chance to talk with Justin Bonsignor, Luke Baldwin. I also talked with Carson Lofton, said, "Are you okay? Are the butterflies?" And they said, "No, we're just going to treat this like we treat every other race. We come here to win."
Thank you so much, Derek. And Derek will be downstairs giving us all the information throughout this 99-lap race. And there you see the number 45 coupe actually pacing the field here. That is driven by none other than Satch Worley, the car owned by Barry Nelson. But Satch Worley meant so much not only to Southern Modified Racing, but all of modified racing across the country. Satch Worley, though, here at North Wilkesboro, virtually unstoppable in so many different race cars through the years. At one point, he had won 5 of 7 races here in the modified community at North Wilkesboro, an 11-time overall winner in modified competition at this racetrack. We saw Satch at the drivers' meeting, and he said, you know what, I'm glad that I don't have to wheel one of these cars anymore because there's too many rules. But at the same time, you think if Satch ever got behind the wheel of one of these cars again, he could put it in victory lane. There's a good shot there from the CitraSafe grill cleaners. Carolina Drilling drone coverage will have that throughout the night. Thank you to those sponsors for providing this coverage tonight here on Flow Racing. And as I mentioned, David Katz in the booth with me. You saw the race to decide who's going to battle for the championship. 5 drivers, 1 race. What do you think?
I mean, it was an electric environment at South Boston, and it really was fitting coming down to the wire. Was it going to be Burt Myers? Was it going to be Ryan Newman? Was it going to be Danny Bone taking that 3rd spot and eventually just turning it into a 5-racer playoff here after some just some post-race decisions by Smart Modified? And so, hey, what better way to come down to it? Wipe the points. Whoever top 5 of those guys finishes at the front of the field will take the championship.
The top 4 starters right here, you see a picture of them right now. Justin Bonsignor, he's like an invader coming in here in that number 51 car. He'll lead the field to the green flag, 43-time winner in the NASCAR Wheel and Modified Tour. And then the guy to the outside, he's basically been the king of modifieds during the last decade or so. Matt Hirschman, already 2 modified wins here at North Wilkesboro Speedway.
And Hirschman had the quickest lap in practice as well as qualifying. He didn't even need to go around the track for a second time. Put up a 17.196, and that was all she wrote. Heads to the pole, gets reclassed down to the 3rd position.
Yeah, if you look right now, that 2nd row, Burt Myers in the number 1 machine. He will start 3rd, the top championship contender in the starting lineup to his outside, Luke Baldwin. Both of those guys looking for a championship. We'll go through the rundown here just momentarily, but we're just about to get started for 99 laps here tonight. Bonsignor and Hirschman, the 2 guys from the NASCAR Wheel and Modified Tour, which will compete here tomorrow at North Wilkesboro Speedway, will lead the field to the green flag. Burt Myers and Baldwin in that 2nd row, the championship contenders. And then another one right there, Carson Lofton, in terms of championship contenders, just 16 years old, he'll start 5th. Jake Crum, former Valley Star Credit Union 100 late model stock car winner, starts 6th. Sammy Ramo out of Massachusetts is 7th. Austin Beers, another one of the northern contingent down here in the 179, 3-time winner on the NASCAR Wheel and Modified Tour. On the outside of row number 4, and rounding out the top 10, Joey Coulter, former NASCAR Truck Series winner, and Jason Myers, the working man, in the number 4. We look through the starting lineup just a little bit more, talking to the tower here as well. Danny Bone, Jonathan Cash there in the top 10. You can take a look at the rest of the starting lineup here as we go a little bit further back in the field. Andrew Krause, Bobby Labonte, yes, that's NASCAR Hall of Famer Bobby Labonte. Ryan Newman, one of those championship contenders, back there in the 15th spot. Pretty deep in terms of the championship contenders. Tommy Buzzy Jr. right now top 10 in the points. And folks, we are about to get kick-started here today. The salute to you, the greatest fans in all of America. This is our salute. With open wheels, chrome horns, and 600 horsepower, we say thank you on behalf of the Smart Modified Tour powered by Pace-O-Matic for coming to all these races and enjoying the coverage on Flow Racing this year. Hey, Derek, what's the feeling like on pit road right now?
Well, the feeling down on pit road is it's time to go racing. Everybody knows about the drama that happened last week at South Boston, but now forget about that drama. Forget about the trash talking. Forget about the he said, she said stuff on social media. It's time to go racing. This is where it all matters. It's time now to settle it all. In just 99 laps, one of the 5 will walk away with the championship. The points don't even matter today. It only matters where you finish. The best finisher, they're going to come out on top with the title.
Derek, the ground is going to be rumbling in just a second because we just got the 1 to go sign. This is a special night. A triple header with the Smart Modified Tour and 2 series within the ZMAX Cars series. This is the second event of the night. Still one more. The nightcap for the late model stock cars are next, but this one is going to be exhilarating.
And Bob, this is the first race the Smart Modified Tour has had the chance to come back to North Wilkesboro with the repaved track. We have seen times getting shaved off by almost 2 seconds as these modifieds are going to whip it around this track at a pace that we've never seen before.
A nice slow pace for the front row. Justin Bonsignor and Matt Hirschman for one final time in 2024. We live by the grace of God in 600 horsepower. We are green at North Wilkesboro. Bonsignor able to grab that lead. Hirschman right there. Hirschman trying to make sure nobody can get underneath or around the wrong side of him. But Luke Baldwin looking good on the outside crew. The battle is for third between a couple of championship contenders right now.
Burt Myers doing everything he can to hold that inside lane, but Luke Baldwin's going to make a move to the top side and take third.
Luke Baldwin now going to the bottom side, trying to work his way around Matt Hirschman. 2 by 2 behind Baldwin, though, for fourth on back. Bonsignor with a little bit of a lead right now. Hirschman right there as well. Single file among the top 3, but some side-by-side racing a little bit further back. Now everybody getting strung out single file early in this one.
You've got Luke Baldwin in third, Burt Myers in fourth, and Carson Lofton in the 23 in fifth. 3 contenders for the Smart Modified Championship, running 3-4-5 right now.
Andrew Krause in that orange and black number 24. Jonathan Cash, top 10 in points on the Smart Modified Tour in that 16. And there's Bobby Labonte back there in that black and yellow Pace-O-Matic Cookout number 18 car, battling with the 4 of Jason Myers. Jonathan Cash looking to the inside of Andrew Krause. Krause has had a great year up in Belmar, New Jersey at Wall Stadium. 6 wins to his credit and his second modified crown at that high-banked racetrack. Competed once before with the Smart Modified Tour this year. Top 10 run at Caraway early this year. The SNS Race and Rides were side by side. Those black and yellow machines. Labonte picks up a spot on Jonathan Cash. Labonte now up to 12, trying to knock on the door to a top 10 spot here. Andrew Krause moves to the inside, allows Labonte to go to the outside in that Cookout machine.
And you got 3 SS racing cars out here. Labonte tailing his teammate right in front. Or excuse me, Jonathan Cash tailing Labonte, as splitting that is going to be Danny Bone. He'll split the teammates, and Labonte, Jonathan Cash is going to look to make a move to the outside.
The 24 of Danny Bone, one of those championship contenders. Here comes another. Ryan Newman in that orange and white Shitty Coolers machine. Newman 2 wins this year. Danny Bone has 1.
Newman started in 15th position. He's now in 13th, hunting for that 12th position. We saw it Sobo last weekend. He had to come from behind. He made a huge push at the end of the race. You expect to see Ryan Newman churn his way up the field.
Here's a battle for 7th. Austin Beers in that Jensen Motorsports 179. Sammy Ramo behind him. And then Labonte is going to pick up a spot, it looks like, with a great move on the outside. You got to wonder, though, is he punishing those tires, charging so hard early in this race?
He's just diving up and down the racetrack. You see him trying to get to the inside. And it's going to be close if he can be successful heading into turn 3. But Labonte, some aggressive racing in that Cookout machine so far.
Yeah, Labonte 11 starts here. Smart Series 2 years ago, Cup Series starts, you name it. There is Burt Myers and the number 23 car of Carson Lofton as well. Derek?
Yeah, you guys are up there talking about Bobby Labonte. When I talked to him earlier today, he said when they practiced, the car felt a little out of balance when they were trying to do their mock qualifying run. He said it had him a little bit worried, but he was also trying to take into consideration the temperature change when the sun went down. The track would tighten up a little bit, and that's exactly what's working for Bobby Labonte right now. This slight temperature change is working into the handling of that number 18 car.
Well, here comes Labonte on the inside of Sammy Ramo, just momentarily has to back it out because he went into turn number 1 really deep, really hard on the throttle. But now looking to the outside of Sammy Ramo. Ramo with a win last year in Smart Modified Tour competition at Motor Mile Speedway in Virginia. But so impressive is Bobby Labonte early in this one, hard charging through the field.
And he got around Sammy Ramo, just the look he was hoping for is Bobby Labonte. I mean, you want to talk about aggressive driving with Jake Crum, who we gave that title to last week, and now Bobby Labonte early on hunting for position.
Jonathan Cash trying to work his way up as well. Joey Coulter is there in the gray Ghost 02. Sammy Ramo in that red and black 06. Jay Cash, he's had a pretty good year. Some top 5 runs, but nary a victory in the Smart Modified Tour. What a night it would be for the former go-kart ace to come here and try to pick off his first win in the series at this legendary racetrack.
It would be, as we're looking times through the field, we're running right about 17.5 is the average time around it. And Bob, I want to ask you, with a new paved track, what's the mentality difference between these drivers who have raced here before and what they're seeing tonight?
Grip and speed. It really comes down to those two things. And these drivers have said throughout the day when we were walking through the pit area, man, this place is fast now. It's got so much grip, but things can change throughout the course of this race as well. Remember, these drivers, you punish these tires, your handling can go away in a hurry. And these drivers only have one tire at their disposal to take at any time when they want to come down pit road. There will be a fueling situation at the end of the Bell Helmets, stage number 1, which comes at the conclusion of 30 laps. Bonsignor in the 51, leading Hirschman in the 60. Hirschman, that win last year in the NASCAR Wheel and Modified Tour, 2 straight victories for him here in 3 starts. But Bonsignor, this is a car that he has run throughout this season on the NASCAR Wheel and Modified Tour. And with just a couple of races to go with that tour, comes in here tomorrow where they will race, challenging for that championship. This car is the one that he ran almost the entire year until they got to Thompson, the most recent race, debuted a brand new car and won the race at Thompson in Connecticut. Back to Jonathan Cash and Sammy Ramo. Ramo still holding down the 9th spot, but a little love tap to the 16. We'll see what happens here a little bit. Bobby Labonte battling with Austin Beers, but let's get an update from Derek as Jonathan Cash takes the spot from Ramo.
Just a little update about Justin Bonsignor. You were talking about them racing in the Smart Modified race tonight. And speaking with them earlier in the day, their goal today was to come here and gather data and set up and actually see which way the track is going to go when the sun went down, temperature changes, things like that. So one of the reasons, the main reasons they're running this race tonight is to gather as much information as they can going into their title fight with the NASCAR Wheel and Modified Tour, where he sits just 6 points behind Tommy Silver.
Oh, trouble for Bobby Labonte. We mentioned his hard-charging run. He is around in turn number 4, and that will bring out the caution 24 laps into this 99-lap race. Labonte had been running in the ace spot, challenging Austin Beers for 7th. Beers in the number 179. So bad break for the 18 of Bobby Labonte. He got 1 win to his credit this year, 5 overall with the Smart Modified Tour. Maybe hoping to do a little bit more racing with the Smart Modified Tour powered by Pace-O-Matic next year. We'll have to see, because I think he was missing it when he was out of the ride as a part-time competitor this year. But Labonte gonna have to figure things out and charge his way through the field once again.
Yeah, he will. He started in 14th, and as you mentioned, he was carving his way up through the field, getting close to the 7th position. You can tell he's having some fun out there, but a little bit too aggressive driving, perhaps. We will see. But Bobby Labonte, if there's anybody that you can't count out in one of these races, it's the NASCAR Hall of Famer.
This racetrack's so unique. You talk about this facility, you know, and the new pavement, 0.625 miles in length, that 13-degree banking in the corners. This place was made for modified racing, and modifieds have been part of the history here at North Wilkesboro for so many years. Bobby Labonte, though, brings out the first caution in this one, just 7 laps shy of the Bell Helmet stage number 1 conclusion. Let's find out what happened here. Little contact between Newman and Andrew Krause, but that is because they slowed because Bobby Labonte had spun to the inside of turn number 4. So up top, it's all Justin Bonsignor so far. You just heard Derek talk about that championship quest that he has, the driver of the number 51, going after another crown in the NASCAR Wheel and Modified Tour, battling with Ron Silk. Those two have definitely gone at it a time or two throughout this season. Certainly rivals between Ron Silk and Justin Bonsignor, both champions with the NASCAR Wheel and Modified Tour. Let's go find out more about what's going on with the 51 with Derek.
Well, the 51 looking pretty good right now, especially running out in front. We've got Ryan Stone here, who's the crew chief for Justin Bonsignor. The car looks really solid. Has the driver said anything so far?
No, we're just trying to set a pace that's comfortable right now and keep the tires on it and just see what we got here. We got a competition caution to get through, and then we got one tire to get. So right now, everybody's just trying to figure out where their cars are at and where their balance is at, and just kind of riding right now. It's early.
So far, all of the crews teams are just trying to feel each other out in these early laps of this race.
Yeah, Derek, is definitely still early. There's the CitraSafe choose cone on the racetrack. When a driver gets to that point, they actually get to choose inside or outside lane prior to getting restarted here in the Pace-O-Matic restart zone. But thank you to CitraSafe for all they do for the Smart Modified Tour. And if you're a griller like me, you need yourself some biodegradable CitraSafe grill cleaner. You can get it at Lowe's, Home Depot, Walmart, a whole lot more. There's no better grill cleaner than CitraSafe. If it's race season, it's grilling season, and you need yourself some CitraSafe.
I was actually talking to a couple fans earlier who were talking about CitraSafe and how they had never used it before, hearing about it on the Smart Modified Tour, and how they'll never go away from it. So, like you said, if you're a griller, it's definitely one to choose.
Thank you to Chris Honeycutt for getting that CitraSafe grill cleaners choose cone out of the way, because we're ready to go back to racing. That front row, what we see right now is Justin Bonsignor chooses the outside for this restart over Matt Hirschman.
And an interesting one as well. Luke Baldwin, who sits in that third position, also takes the outside lane. Burt Myers in fourth will take the inside. And Carson Lofton, right on the bumper of Baldwin, will take the outside position in fifth. That's where I'm watching on this restart here. We'll see if these championship contenders are aggressive as we go green again in lap 23.
7 to go before we get to the end of Bell Helmet stage number 1. Bonsignor grabs that lead. Hirschman in second. Luke Baldwin, that outside groove, looking very sporty right here. Baldwin able to get to third. Carson Lofton may get the spot on Burt Myers. He does off of 4.
Lofton was right on the bumper of Baldwin the entire way around. He was hoping for some.
We got a car in the wall. In turn number 1, it's Jonathan Cash. What a bad break for that driver out of Oxford, North Carolina. Jonathan Cash came into this race 9th in the point standings for the second consecutive race. He has difficulty, and now that 16 is parked against the outside wall in turn number 1. Bad break for Jonathan Cash. Part of the Hermie Sadler and Bill Stanley Racing Stables. 3 cars, as you mentioned, David. We're going to take a look at what happened to Jonathan Cash down in turn number 1. Outside wall contact for him, but here's Jonathan Cash on the outside of Jake Crum. Cash looks like he might have just wiggled a little bit, got into the 12, trying to steer off of him, and that car wound up collected in turn number 1.
Yeah, bumped the wall over, corrected just a little bit. That contact then with the 12 car and sent him right back into the wall. An unfortunate crash for Jonathan Cash. We saw him last week in that flying 11 car, back in his normal 16 here, and just an unfortunate break for him off the restart.
And he's had a very good year. Challenge for the victory at Carteret County Speedway. Came up just a little bit short. Some top 5 finishes for him. We hope to see him again next year here on the Smart Modified Tour powered by Pace-O-Matic. So we got to clean up Jonathan Cash's car off the turn 1 wall. Good to see him climb out okay here at North Wilkesboro Speedway. We'll be right back to Flow Racing with more racing action here at Wilkesboro. Still cleaning up the mess of Jonathan Cash's car. Came to a rest on the outside wall in turn number 1. Second caution of this 99-lap race here at North Wilkesboro Speedway for the Smart Modified Tour powered by Pace-O-Matic. We keep on mentioning the Championship 5 contenders. 3 of them having very good runs at this juncture of the race. Justin Bonsignor leads, but Luke Baldwin, the top competitor in the Championship 5 in that 7 car, he rides 3rd. 4th is Carson Lofton, and 5th, Burt Myers. So those 3 sitting very well at this stage of the game inside the top 5. Although right now, early in this one, it doesn't look like anybody has anything for Justin Bonsignor or Matt Hirschman. But again, we're really early in this race. A lot can change throughout this entire race. We're going to have a fuel stop where drivers come down pit road at the end of Bell Helmet stage number 1. They get to fuel their cars. Everybody goes back out on the racetrack, and then pits will be open after that for people to come down if they want to take a tire, make some adjustments, no matter what it is. That right front on Jonathan Cash's machine very much damaged as they bring that Pace-O-Matic car to the infield. Let's go to Derek.
Yeah, just running up and down pit road, trying to get a word with some of the crew chiefs of the drivers that are within the top 10 right now. Ran into Carson Lofton's crew chief, Jonathan Brown. They said that they're just a tick free with the race car right now, but they're very happy with it. Then I ran over to talk to Neil Cantor, who's the crew chief for Luke Baldwin. They said that they are good. They're just riding right now and waiting for the race to play out. Talked to the number 18 crew chief, actually the car owner, Stefanelli. He said their car is just a tick free right now, but it's manageable. And then after talking with Danny Bones, crew chief, his father, Eddie Bone, they said the car's a little tight right now, but as the laps click on, it should free up for them, and they'll be okay.
Thank you so much for that information, Derek. On the backstretch right now, Justin Bonsignor will be the first car to come to the CitraSafe Choose Cone. There it is on the backstretch here at North Wilkesboro Speedway. And just like before, you see several of the cars take the outside groove. Burt Myers takes the inside, but all these drivers choosing inside or out when they come to the CitraSafe Choose Cone. Thank you so much to CitraSafe as well as Carolina Drilling for providing the drone coverage on our Flow Racing broadcast here tonight at North Wilkesboro Speedway. We saw the outside groove definitely worked out for several competitors, and it looks like Bonsignor, Luke Baldwin, and Carson Lofton chose that outside groove. There is Danny Bone, though. Danny Bone, one of the championship contenders in the AmeriFast Supply, number 24. And Danny Bone, right now, a little bit further back than he wants to be in that 13th spot. But we want to mention the fact that this team racing with heavy hearts here this week, tonight here at North Wilkesboro Speedway. Buddy and Lisa Ellis own that race car. Their daughter, Kirsten, passed away this week, and we've been thinking about them. They are a big part of the Smart Modified Tour community and family, and we are praying for them, and we just are thinking of them at this difficult time. It would be wonderful for Danny Bone to be able to capture this championship, but plenty of time to go still to decide that here tonight at North Wilkesboro. Now we're coming to the green. Hirschman on the inside. The car that is in control is the 51 of Justin Bonsignor. Bonsignor gets the spot. Baldwin, can he get to the outside in that black and yellow Pace-O-Matic machine? He goes around Matt Hirschman for second. Baldwin, aggressive as a championship contender to get by Matt Hirschman. Carson Lofton is coming with him as well. Lofton, the 16-year-old kid, in third. So you have an 18 and a 16-year-old kid, second and third early in this race.
It looked like Baldwin and Lofton were locked. Bumper to the front of the grill there as he just zoomed right around him. Take a look at Ryan Newman, who has moved his way up the field.
Oh, a tap from Jake Crum to Matt Hirschman. Oh, my, little contact there with Ryan Newman, Tommy Buzzy in the blue and white 25, and the orange and black 24 of Andrew Kraus, all involved in that one. We're going to have to take a look at that again. There's a little history between Matt Hirschman and Jake Crum. It came during the Pace-O-Matic King of the Modifieds back in March. Both of those guys battling for the top spot late in the going of that race. And Jake Crum feels like Matt Hirschman squeezed him into the wall during that race. And interesting that those two drivers actually make contact here and Hirschman goes around. Let's take a look at this. We have two looks. There is Crum going to the inside. Hirschman comes down. Man, that looks like both of those just battling for the same real estate on the racetrack. We got one more look at what happened here. Hirschman in that black car. See, from that angle, it looks like Hirschman came down a little bit, but Crum just did not give any inches.
No, he was not going to give up his position on the racetrack there, and really unfortunate as Hirschman, really the first time that he has been running 1-2 when he finally gets back into some traffic. Jake Crum holds his line, just barely clips the back of that bumper. It looks like both him and Tommy Buzzy were able to drive away, but Andrew Krause still getting some assistance with his car.
Ooh, that was an interesting one. Derek, what do you think?
Well, right now, Ryan's crew has gone over the wall, and they look like they're making some adjustments to the front sway bar of that car after banging wheels. Of course, you can knock a tie rod out, the sway bar can go out, and it also looks like they're checking the toe, the front end of that number 2 car as well. They've got the toe plates down here on the ground. They're getting ready to jack up the car, but they got the tape measures out too to make sure that the car is properly aligned.
Yeah, DP, he had a significant hit there amongst that incident down in turns 1 and 2. So this team taking a precautionary measure right now to bring that car down, make sure nothing is out of whack, and that Ryan Newman can still battle for this championship. There's the 25 car, the unit's moving in storage, Mark III financial machine for Tommy Buzzy. Buzzy's had a good year, but he had a tough run at South Boston. Right now, he is 8th in points. Back to Derek.
While they're working on the car right now, they're trying to get the front end aligned properly. They've got another crew member over the wall checking the rear stagger of the car. So while they're adjusting and getting all the fixes and the repairs done to the front end, we've also got a crew member adjusting at the back end to make sure the car performs at its best.
Randy Renfro joining his team there on pit road, making sure that Newman likes what he's got in his car, make sure it's exactly the setup after a little contact there when Hirschman went around. Just barely made that contact, but that can do some damage to that front suspension.
Wrong place, wrong time, and Newman just couldn't get out of the way. And we're going to take one more look at, see what...
And watch Ryan Newman here come into the picture. Man, what a piece of driving, but that left front just caught the left rear of Hirschman's car, and also a little bit of damage there to the left rear after some contact as well. So that's what that team for Ryan Newman is working on pit road to make sure that that left front suspension did not get messed up for Newman.
And you saw a good bit of bend in that as well, hoping that Newman's going to be able to get back out on the track, but it's something that we'll definitely watch if he does, how that race car is going to handle around North Wilkesboro.
We mentioned Andrew Krause right now, still on the racetrack. That car did not drive away. And Krause, bad break for him because every time he's come down here, just a couple of starts with the Smart Modified Tour, he has been very strong. And there he is, climbing back inside that race car. But it looks like he's got a left front down, a little bit of suspension damage, some front nose piece damage on that 24 machine.
If you were out here for practice, there was nobody on this track longer than Andrew Krause, just trying to get as much feel for this racetrack as he could. Came back into the pits a couple times, made some modifications, but it really felt like for the entire 55-minute session, he was out there for almost every single lap that he could.
Love to talk about history with modified racing, both north and south, but here in the south, North Wilkesboro Speedway has been so important to the culture of Southern modified racing. You take a look at this racetrack. Smart Modified Tour has been here on 16 different occasions, 12 different winners, so nice to be back here with the Smart Modified Tour, Derek.
Yeah, it really is, especially at a track like this, how beautiful it is. But talking about Matt Hirschman right now, he pulled in, he was running up front, he had that contact out there on the racetrack. They had to come in, adjust the front toe on the car. Then crew chief Dennis Duffy, when climbing over the wall, knowing that they've got to come from the rear now, they're going to make adjustments on the car to make it more drivable for Matt Hirschman to be able to get to the front. So as you can see right now, we've got a crew member making adjustments to the rear suspension of the car, and they are trying to tweak this chassis so Matt Hirschman can come from the rear.
If anybody can do it, Matt Hirschman certainly can, but they are still working on the 2 machine. See Randy Renfro there at the front of that race car, making sure they get it dialed in, and that's what they're playing with. Derek noted the toe down there and making some adjustments as well to make sure that everything's okay for Newman. Newman, 2 wins this year. Loves the low light and left race cars that are the modifieds. He said they are just so much fun to race, but this race car actually a couple of races ago was actually damaged significantly at Dominion Raceway in Spotsylvania, Virginia. They put it back. He finished runner-up last week in South Boston, and now Ryan Newman, a little damage as well to some of the bolt-on suspension on the front end of that machine. He'll be back out there here momentarily.
We see this Citrus Safe choose cone out in the backstretch, and our leaders continuing to push to the top side. We do see Bonsignor. He will take the inside when we get back around. The rest of the field will close out, but Bonsignor will sit on the inside. Luke Baldwin will take the outside in row 1. Burt Myers on the inside and Carson Lofton on the outside in row 2. So championship contenders looking to hunt.
Want to also say that we want to send some thoughts out to Philip Smith and his family. Philip, Smart's first champion, a 2-time winner here at this racetrack, lost his wife this past week, and we in the Smart family are thinking about you, Philip, thinking about your entire family at this difficult time. The car is rolling through our shot down in turn number 3, coming back to the green, this time in the Pace-O-Matic restart zone. Baldwin on the outside. Does he have anything for Justin Bonsignor? We'll find out in just a minute. It's usually off of turn number 2. Look at that high line that Baldwin takes, gets the run up off the corner, trying to get to the outside, and he's almost there on Justin Bonsignor, but it won't work this lap.
Carson Lofton falls into that 3rd position. Burt Myers looks like he's in a battle for 4th with Jake Crum. Crum trying to take the outside line.
Carson Lofton in that 3rd spot, that red number 23, closing into the back bumper, gives his buddy Luke Baldwin a shot there. This is not the car that he normally runs with the Smart Modified Tour. This is a car that he's run in a couple of NASCAR Wheel of Modified Tour shows, and it's working for Carson Lofton today.
And Lofton, 5 wins over the first 7 races of the year, has yet to get back to victory lane. You know there's been some frustration there. Now running 3rd, he's in a prime opportunity to hunt down Luke Baldwin right in front of him.
Sammy Ramo hanging tough as well. Ramo running in the 5th spot behind Jake Crum, and we got a car going around. It is Jimmy Wallace in the number 21 car, that Carolina drilling machine that spins off of turn number 2. So bad break, that driver. Top 10 run, 8th place finish at the Pace-O-Matic King of the Modifieds back at South Boston Speedway in March. We're looking forward to going back to South Boston late March next year for another running, the 2nd running of the Pace-O-Matic King of the Modifieds. Make sure you get down there. That was a heck of an event last year here, this year, for the Smart Modified Tour. So Jimmy Wallace out of Reedy Creek, North Carolina, one of the mainstays in the Smart Modified Tour. Let's find out what happened to him. We take a look. Looks like a little contact down in the corner. How about that? We got one more look here. Ooh, definitely some contact, and I believe that was the number 11 machine of Norman Newman that made contact with Jimmy Wallace.
Yeah, it was, and Wallace did everything that he could to try and hold on there, but hey, get out of that with no structural damage. It looks like he's running around the track okay at the moment. Wouldn't be surprised if they bring it in to take one look, but it's good that there's no damage that's been sustained, as one of the beautiful sights as the full moon a couple days ago, but it's blood orange right now. We had a beautiful sunset earlier and a gorgeous moonrise.
It's October, and that's what you see here in North Carolina. A beautiful moon over North Wilkesboro Speedway tonight. Again, the Citrus Safe Grill Cleaners choose cone, and all the drivers choosing that inside or outside line. We continue to take a look at what we see early in this one. We're still short of Bell Helmet stage number 1. That'll be complete at lap number 30, but it's Justin Bonsignor over Luke Baldwin and Carson Lofton, Jake Crum and Sammy Ramo, your top 5 drivers. Burt Myers Another championship contender has slipped back to 6th right now. Austin Beers in the 179 rides in 7th. Joey Coulter having a good run in the Gray Ghost, 0-2 in 8th. Danny Bone has moved up to the 9th spot by virtue of a couple of these cautions in that 24. And Matthew Kimball, how about him? In that number 43 machine, having a pretty good run in his first start with the Smart Modified Tour.
So Bonsignor will take the inside lane. Luke Baldwin to the top of him.
Been watching Bonsignor run for so many years. Started out in the karting ranks at WKA, raced all over the place, one of the best karters back in the day. Watched him at Medford Speedway on Long Island, a little karting track back in the day, and we were talking about that earlier today. Baldwin on the outside, another good jump for Justin Bonsignor in the 51. And look at Sammy Ramo driving hard. Ramo moving to the inside of Luke Baldwin. Battle for second. Ramo in that red and black 06. Oh, he's going to slide up the racetrack. He was in there. Baldwin does not give up, though. Baldwin, 18 years old, said, buddy, you cannot do that to me. And Baldwin's been taking that outside, extensive outside lane, and he's been working that to his advantage. But the caution is back out because that's the end of Bell Helmets stage number 1. Points really don't matter, but the top 3 drivers at the conclusion of this stage actually do receive a little extra cash thanks to Bell Helmets. Definitely providing safety in terms of their helmets for all the drivers all over America, and several of the drivers here in this series, in this race tonight, utilizing the Bell Helmets product.
Yeah, typically we're sitting here and we're trying to do some points in our head as you get close to the end of the season, but tonight all that off the board. 5 drivers, only they are competing for the Smart Modified Champion, but got to feel good for Bonsignor to continue to hold the lead through 30 laps.
It was interesting in talking to the 5 championship contenders this past week and getting their thoughts on what they think about this winner take all amongst those drivers for the championship. A couple of them certainly did not like it. Danny Bone, not a big fan of the one race decides a championship. Neither was Burt Myers. He feels like the season long finishes and that consistency is what really should pay off in terms of a champion. Carson Lofton, he's 16 years old. He's just happy to be here, so he really didn't have an opinion either way. But you take a look at a guy like, you take a look at a lot of these guys. Baldwin not minding it too much, but a guy like Ryan Newman, he's competed in this scenario before in the Cup Series back in 2014, battling for a championship at Homestead Miami Speedway. He's got some experience, and then Baldwin says, listen, we're going to prepare just the same. I'm going to go for the race win just the same, and we're going to let everything handle itself on how everything plays out in this race. So here's what we're going to see right now. This is lap 30. This is the end of Bell Helmet stage number 1. You see the teams getting prepared to fuel these race cars. They will bring the cars down pit road. They will not be allowed to do anything else but fuel the race cars. After everybody gets fueled, they pull back out in the racetrack. Nobody's going to lose a spot here. They all get the same position as they come down pit road. When they go back out onto the racetrack, they will have the ability, the pits will be reopened at one stage, and then these drivers can come down pit road if they want to make some more adjustments, or they can stay on the racetrack.
And as we continue to see these drivers move down pit lane, the number 2 of Ryan Newman all the way down at the end of the pits still remains as they continue to do work on that race car.
Burt Myers in the number 1 car. Burt's been around this series for a long time, 12 wins overall. Those wins in many other series, tour type modifieds, but there is Myers in that Peanut Patch CitraSafe Grill Cleaners car. He was a 3rd generation of the Myers family. Now his son Slate, a 4th generation, also running with the Smart Modified Tour on a couple of starts late in the season. But Burt Myers has got the experience. He's got the savvy to battle for a championship.
Yeah, Burt Myers, there's a guy you just can never count out, as Myers contending for that championship, one of the top 5 drivers coming into North Wilkesboro. See Joey Coulter in the 02. Truck Series winner is continue to fuel these cars. And once again, they're going to load up with fuel, and then they'll head around the racetrack once more. And only one tire that they are allowed to change. It can go on any location. But here's another look at Ryan Newman. Looks like they've got the car off the jack, fueling it up. So we hope to see Ryan Newman back out on the racetrack momentarily.
We are going to go to our Racing Electronics in-car communication and talk to one of the championship contenders. Burt Myers having a pretty good run, but in that number 1 car, what are you thinking right now as far as what it's doing on the racetrack?
Well, I think we got a pretty good car. It's just these restarts are tricky. The outside line is the preferred groove, but you just feel like you give up way too many spots by going to the outside. So I was going to go 8 instead of 3rd if I went to the outside. So just you got to pick and choose your battles. But I think we got a really good car. Just waiting to see how this thing shakes out.
What else does this car need for you to go not only after this championship, but after this win here tonight?
Well, the car's driving pretty good. It's just at this point it's about track position and get single file and get green flag laps in. Like I said, these restarts are tough because having to choose inside and outside and having to find your way back into the preferred line is kind of tough. But right now we just need some clean air.
Hey, Burt, before I let you go, what do you think about old North Wilkesboro Speedway?
I think modified need to be here about 3 or 4 times a year if you ask me.
Burt Myers, thank you so much. Good luck the rest of the race, bud. Burt Myers, driver out of Walnut Cove, North Carolina. His brother also in the race here tonight, Jason Myers. Jason, a 41-time winner in NASCAR modified competition at Bowman Gray Stadium. Derek, what's going on with Ryan Newman down there? What are they saying?
Well, right now they're fueling up the car and just getting it topped off with race fuel. And we've got one of the crew members that's actually down looking in the wheel well. So you can't work on the car during this caution. But what you can do is you can assess damage or assess what changes you may need to make, gathering data right now so they can get this car faster. And that's exactly what Newman's crew is doing. They're looking under the car. They're actually shaking the car left to right to see if everything is going to work all right. They're also checking the neck of the fuel cell to make sure that they can pack it full of fuel and get every last bit of drop of fuel into this car so they don't have to worry about running out of gas.
Well, let's talk to Ryan Newman with our Racing Electronics in-car communication. Ryan, how's things going right now? You had a little mishap down there, had to come down pit road. Did you get it straightened out?
Well, I think we're close. I don't know how straight it actually is. We had to thrash there, so we might come back to pit here again with this caution. So, how about you, Bob? You got any idea what turned the 60 car sideways there?
Yeah, so a little contact with Jake Crum and the 12 machine in the 60 turned that car sideways. But you almost got around. It was a good move, but how hard was that contact with the left front?
It was enough to knock the toe out quite a bit, so we've got it back close, and the car feels okay, but I want to make sure it's right. So I don't know how close right's going to be, but we'll do what we can and try to get some track position back. Still a long ways to go. It's been pretty chaotic so far.
It looks pretty chaotic. You've been in one of these championship scenarios before, back in, 2014 in the Cup Series. What's a winner-take-all type format for these championship contenders like?
Well, we got to be prepared for everything. I mean, we've seen a lot of cars drop out already, so there's no guarantee that any 5 of us finish the race. So we'll just keep on digging. No matter what, we got to keep going.
Ryan Newman in that Shitty Coolers number 2. We wish you the best of luck.
Thank you, Bob.
Ryan Newman in the number 2 car. Awesome to actually hear the thoughts of some of these championship contenders as they're battling. And there's so much on the line here tonight. There's not only money, there's that Bankers Life Smarty Championship trophy, but it's that pride factor that you were able to be the best of the best this year to capture that championship. What we'll do is we'll take a quick commercial break here on Flow Racing. We'll come back, maybe try to talk to some more drivers with our Racing Electronics in-car communication. North Wilkesboro, it does not disappoint. Some carnage already in the infield here at North Wilkesboro Speedway for the Smart Modified Tour. Jonathan Cash, top 10 in points coming into this one in that black and yellow 16. He's out of the show, and so is New Jersey speedster, that number 24 of Andrew Kraus. There have already been a bunch of cautions in this one. This is the end of Bell Helmet stage number 1. Teams have come down pit road already to take the fuel. Now they have the opportunity, once pit road is open again, to come down and make some adjustments. We've been monitoring the radio chatter of Carson Lofton. We're going to try to talk to him. Carson Lofton, Bob Dillner, look like you're having a pretty good run so far. How's that car?
Our car's doing pretty good. We kind of shot off a little bit on the free side, but I think that might play in our favor later on. So hopefully the caution play in our favor, and we can be up front at the end of the night.
Listen, you've had a great year, 5 wins, and all of those came in a different race car. You're running a different race car here tonight. How much do you like this thing?
I like it a lot. You know, this car only has like 6 races on. It's our best car. So we decided to bring it out tonight and hopefully put it to work.
Carson, real quick, one more thing. Where do you have to be better here tonight to go after this championship?
I think we got to be a little bit tighter on engine and center so I can be a little more stable and not get drive off at the end of the race. I think that's what it's going to come down to.
Good luck, Carson.
Thank you.
And Carson Lofton at South Boston last week, in and out of the pits. Seemed like there was a little bit of trouble with the car, but is running smooth, running good so far here at North Wilkesboro. We mentioned earlier in the broadcast, but 5 wins in the first 7 races, and he has yet to get back to victory lane since. However, a strong running right here at North Wilkesboro could lead to a potential championship. He's got Luke Baldwin in front of him, currently sitting in second, as we'll continue to see how that battle goes for the top spot in the championship race.
And here's the interesting thing between Luke Baldwin running second and Carson Lofton up there as well. Those guys are buddies. Honestly, they pal around a long time. There is Joey Coulter with that Bill Stein 02. Or it's Ryan Newman back on pit road as well, Derek.
Again for Ryan Newman in that number 2 car, and they are working on the toe for the front end of that. They didn't get it completely right, so they just wanted to fine-tune it to get the car to Ryan Newman's liking. After that, they're going to check everything else on the car to make the proper adjustments they need to get him back out on the track and back into this championship run.
And they can take their time right now. Just take their time. Make sure those adjustments are right. And they keep on measuring the toe to make sure it's exactly where it should be. You heard Ryan Newman talk about that. We got it as straight as we could, but then they went back green flag racing. This gives them the opportunity to check it once again to get it a little bit closer.
That it does, and you know, you can rush that process. You can get that race car back out on the track, but if that machine's not running properly, firstly, you don't want to do any more damage to it. You don't want to put it into the wall. But secondly, you get it tuned back in. It gives you a chance to continue to navigate your way through the field and have a successful race for the last 70.
The Generac machine for the 09 of Chris Hatton, champion of 602 modified competition down at New Smyrna Speedway during Florida Speed Weeks, trying his hand at Smart Modified Tour competition here at North Wilkesboro Speedway. And this is a great weekend to be a racing fan, especially in this part of the country, because you come here tonight, a triple header with 2 different divisions for the Cars Tour and then the Smart Modified Tour, and tomorrow the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour in action. If you're a fan of racing, or even if you're just a fan of modified racing, this is the place to be here this weekend. Back down to Derek.
Back to green flag racing. A lot of the crew chiefs talked to the drivers during that fuel stop and let them know, or reminded them, okay, we're filling you up with fuel. We're packing that fuel cell full. So the handling of the car is going to change. A lot of the crew chiefs told these drivers the car is going to tighten back up on you. If it started off tight, it freed up, and now it's going to go back to tight because there's more weight in the rear end of the car. They also know, they told them to ride it out. As the laps click off and the fuel burns off, the car will level off and come to them.
And that's true. That's something that all these teams have to consider, depending on their fuel load, what it's going to do to the handling characteristics of the race car. Still under caution here. This is a lengthy caution because we had the fuel stop initially and then got everybody back out in the racetrack, and those who want to pit right now have the opportunity to do so. We've seen several come down pit road to make some adjustments to their race cars.
We have, and this is where the strategy comes into play, as for the last laps of these races, we may not get a caution from here on out. So if you decide to go in and take that tire now, your plan may be to remain out on the racetrack until the checkered flag. But as we saw at South Boston last week, you got guys who are more aggressive than others, who are coming into pit before this timed caution, who are coming in at lap 60, lap 70, who are having to make that adjustment because they didn't get a caution that they were banking on. And so it's a huge part of the strategy of the Smart Modified Tour.
Choose Cone is out. We'll see what everybody does. But how about Flow Racing tonight? Big events, a triple header here at North Wilkesboro. You take a look at that app. They got racing all over the place, but one that is near and dear to my heart. How about the big Dirt Track World Championship for the Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series at Eldora tonight? So these days, you got to have many devices, the phones, the computers, the tablets, you name it. You go to Flow Racing and you'll run out of electronic equipment to watch all the racing, but even me here in the booth, going to be keeping an eye on what's happening at Eldora and Rossburg, Ohio here tonight with the conclusion of the season for the Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series. So plenty of great racing action here tonight as well. Looks like we're going to be going back to green next time by. Sammy Ramo's been awfully impressive and aggressive. He's on the inside of the front row right now. Is this the time we see somebody else other than Justin Bonsignor lead this race?
We're going to see Bonsignor the last couple times he's gone through the CitraSafe Choose Cone. He has taken that inside lane. We're now going to see an approach that he had towards the beginning of the race, taking the outside look.
This is beautiful. Love the drone coverage we have here from CitraSafe as well as Carolina Drilling. Ramo on the inside for this restart. Bonsignor on the outside. Both of those drivers, one from New York, one from Massachusetts. We have a Pennsylvania driver on the inside of row number 2, and Luke Baldwin, whose family comes from modified racing up north. Ramo all over the back bumper of Bonsignor. Now Austin Beers up to third. Baldwin slips to fourth. Here comes Carson Lofton on the outside of him. So the title contenders going at it. Carson Lofton looks good. Battle for the lead. Ramo to the inside. He grabs the top spot by the 51 of Justin Bonsignor. And as we say that, we saw the caution lights come on. Tim Connolly with some damage to the right front of that machine. The Mystic Missile racing car. He ran that car for Bob Garbarino for so many years. 9 NASCAR Wheel and Modified Tour wins for him. A full-time competitor on the NASCAR Wheel and Modified Tour this year. Missed the race at Monadnock earlier after a wicked hit at Riverhead Raceway. And Tim Connolly's had a couple spinal surgeries. He's okay. Talked to him here today, and he's been around for a long time. And it's nice to see this car and Tim Connolly in modified racing throughout the country. Let's take a look at what happened here. This is from our speed shot from our Flow Racing cameras. And now we go to that one right there. You take a look at him. It looks like he collected the inside wall. Not able to see from that vantage point exactly what happened, but we'll take a look at it one more time to see what happened to Tim Connolly, because Connolly is just not going to lose control and hit the inside retaining wall. And it looked like there might have been some contact from that speed shot down there on the front stretch. Hard to tell exactly who the car was that made contact with him, but it looked like there was contact. Let's take a look one more time. There's the yellow car. It looks like John Holloman in that black and pink number 69 kind of came off of turn number 4. Maybe didn't know that Connolly was there and dove down low, made that contact, and sent the 4 car into the wall.
And that's what you got to believe. That seemed like a very aggressive dive to the inside lane for there to be another car in the way, but hoping that it's just damage that's sustained to that right front tire. Remember, there's still one tire that can be changed throughout this race, and if that's the extent of the damage, we could see the 4 car back onto the track in no time.
Listen, this will tell you how long Connolly has been around this business, and I've been around this business. I was still writing for newspapers back in the day when Tim Connolly was winning on the NASCAR Wheel and Modified Tour. So he just loves this style of racing, and it's awesome. Derek Pernisigler and I were talking about Tim Connolly today, and it's just for people that have been around modified racing for a long time, and everybody in the Northeast is going to know this. Bob Garbarino and what he did and how many great drivers he had behind the wheel of those cars, and his Mystic Missile number 4 for so many years was so cool. You know, in the latter part of the years, you know, you saw Bobby Santos there, Donnie Leah, Tim Connolly. Derek, this just brings back memories.
Oh boy, does it ever. It really does, especially seeing the V4 of Tim Connolly out there. But what a lot of people don't realize is that Tim Connolly actually made one start in the NASCAR Xfinity Series in 2012, finishing 25th at Watkins Glen. He also has starts in USAC Silver Crown cars, as well as driving the familiar Mystic Missile. When I asked him previously, what made you want to come back racing? He said, my family. My sons wanted to go racing again. They wanted to put a car together for us to go and race as a family, and that's exactly what they did.
And DP, it's funny too, because you mentioned that he's been in USAC as well. Tim Connolly's just as tall as me. He's like 6'6", so that's hard to squeeze into one of those race cars that tall.
Well, the Silver Crown cars are a little bit bigger, so that'll definitely fit somebody like Tim Connolly's size. And also, don't forget, Tim Connolly played college football, so he definitely knows what it's like to be a big guy playing in a sport.
Absolutely. We've been paying attention to some of the college scores as well here today. David, did Tennessee win? He's gonna check. Tennessee and Alabama, we're going at it here today, and a lot of people are like, oh, who cares about college football? We're a lover of all sports all over the place. Tennessee,
they pulled out the 24-17 victory over Alabama.
Good old Rocky Top wins here today against Roll Tide. A lot of people are going to be mad watching this broadcast here tonight that Alabama lost. But looks like we're almost set to go back to green flag racing here at North Wilkesboro Speedway. 30 laps complete of 99. The winner will ride the lift into victory lane. The champion could be one of the same, would do the same thing, or one of these 5 drivers battling for the championship is going to be one very lucky person at the end of the night.
That they will. And while we were talking to Derek, the 4 of Tim Connolly went behind the wall. They currently have it parked right out in front of the trailer, so got a new tire on it, pulled it back.
And he's done for the night, 'tis Tim Connolly, so unfortunate circumstances for him, but he'll be in tomorrow's show with the NASCAR Wheel and Modified Tour. So now we have Baldwin back on the outside of that front row for this restart. When they get to the Pacematic restart zone off of turn number 4, Justin Bonsignor is in control of this restart. Sammy Ramo is on the inside line in row number 2. Austin Beers is up there as well. Beers having a very good run. He's on the inside of row number 3, but Carson Lofton right behind his buddy for this restart in rows 1 and 2 on the outside. Here's where Baldwin could get a run. Watch this out of the Pacematic machine for Luke Baldwin. The first time Justin Bonsignor has been challenged this hard here tonight. Can he get it to stick? Bonsignor screams down the front stretch to grab the lead once again. Almost contact down there a little bit. A big wiggle out of Carson Lofton, and Ramo now to the inside of Baldwin for second.
Lofton just had to slow it down a touch as there's more contact between Luke Baldwin and Ramo. Baldwin sneaks in to secure that second spot.
Here comes Austin Beers. Saw his dad Eric here today. The apple didn't fall far from the tree for this family as well. Eric was a darn good modified racer, and so is Austin as well, getting the chance to run the Jensen Motorsports 179 here. Will be back in his normal ride on the NASCAR Wheel and Modified Tour tomorrow, but he's getting gobbled up. That outside line just too good. Right now, Beers falls back to 5th, but Jake Crum is there as well to go to the outside of Beers.
Lofton defending that 4th position well, but like you said, Jake Crum, who we know is an aggressive driver, takes the outside line here looking for any opportunity.
You heard Burt Myers say this place is made for modified racing. Can you tell just by looking at this? People trying to go all over the racetrack. Some, like Burt Myers behind the 179, saying, hey, I need to chill out a little bit. I need to be here at the end of the race to battle for this championship. And as we say that, just behind Burt Myers, a couple of cars. You see Bobby Labonte right behind the black and white number 1 car. And behind that, Bobby Labonte in the yellow and black 18 is championship contender Danny Bone. So Danny Bone has actually moved through the field as well. Bone running in 9th.
And Danny Bone was looking up towards 6th position, but similar to last week at South Boston, he's had some tough breaks on some of these restarts. Bone doing everything he can, battling in 9th right now. And Bobby Labonte, who we saw spin earlier when contesting for that 7th position, right back into the top 10 of the field.
And I'm impressed with the car right behind Danny Bone as well. Matt Kimball out of New Hampshire. He's got those wins, 6 in all in that New Hampshire Modified Series. He's got 1 MRS win this past year, also in New Hampshire at Claremont. But Kimball had a very good run in his first start with the Smart Modified Tour. Kimball now running in that 10th spot, side by side. Burt Myers to the inside of Beers. Beers, I thought he was going to let him go, but Beers battling strong on the outside.
That he is. We'll continue to watch that as they come through the start finish into turn 1, as that is the lowest point of the racetrack from here coming out of turn 2. They're going to race uphill. It's a 14-foot difference from turn 1 into turn 3, as that spot is going to be secured, at least for now, for Austin Beers. Jake Crum now battling up against Ramo. Crum on the inside, looking for any small gap, and Ramo's going to close the door.
Wow, Ramo slowing up just a little bit. Here comes Beers to the inside. Beers battling with Crum. It gets close down in turn number 2. Action just too good right now on the racetrack. 58 laps to go in this one. Beers holding the inside groove. Ramo goes down there as well. Ramo up and down and all around. You don't know which groove he's going to go in, and Beers is going to take advantage of that. Austin Beers trying to move back by Sammy Ramo for 4th. Here comes Jake Crum to the inside of the 06 as well. Crum trying to get back up to the 5th spot. Can't do it. Let's go to Derek.
Yeah, talking about the guys in 4th, 5th, and 6th right now, the 179 of Austin Beers. You got to remember, he's a 2021 ROC Modified champion, so he knows what it's like to race in one of those divisions and win a championship. The next driver in line is Sam Ramo. Talking to his crew chief, they said the car was feeling fine. Then when they came in to fuel the car up, it tightened it back up again. So they're waiting for the car to burn some fuel off so it can start feeling more comfortable. And for the 6th spot, the number 12 of Jake the Snake Crum, when I talked to his crew chief, they're worried about fuel mileage right now because at the 30-lap mark, their fuel cell took a lot of fuel. They're burning more fuel than everyone else. So that's got them worried that they're not going to have the mileage that everyone else has.
Interesting. They will have to come down pit road, take a tire. You know, that's something that they can do if they need more fuel, take some fuel a little bit later on. But this battle here is crazy. Here comes Jake Crum. He's got the run on Ramo now, trying to move into 5th. Crum gets to the inside, but he can't get the momentum off the corner. Ramo just so stubborn there. Finally gives up that spot. Matthew Kimball in that that blue and white number 43, having a good run. Danny Bone right on his back bumper.
And you're wondering when Danny Bone is going to make a move. For the last 7 races, he has finished in the top 5. And Bone is just, like you had mentioned, had so much success. One of the most underrated racers, and probably the most underrated in this top 5. But has yet just to have that big victory. You wonder when he's going to have to start racing a little more aggressive and making a move.
Luke Baldwin has been very good. Right now, Luke Baldwin in 2nd. Last 5 races, all top 6 finishes. He had that one mishap, an engine issue at Caraway Speedway, and that kind of hurt him in the points just a little bit. But right now, Luke Baldwin, one of the quickest cars on the racetrack, he is not letting Justin Bonsignor get out of his sights.
Not at all. Luke Baldwin not only hunting for that Smart Modified Championship, but hunting for the win here at North Wilkesboro. Bob, I want to ask you as well, with this new repaved surface, it seems like drivers are ducking up and down the track, trying to find any way to get around their competitors. Do you think some of that comes with more grip on this repaved track?
Definitely, and I think what it comes down to is what is your car doing in terms of handling characteristics? And then you're going to put that car wherever you can make it quicker and not punish that car too much. So with all this grip all the way around this racetrack with the new pavement at North Wilkesboro, it allows drivers to search a little bit. Yeah, these cars don't go sideways, but at the same time, they're a lot like a dirt late model in terms of they're searching for grip on the racetrack, you know, in comparison to how that car is handling. So I love what I see. Still early in this one. We still have 45 laps to go. Right now approaching the halfway point in this race. Joey Coulter in the 02 machine. Coulter trying to move his way back through the field. He's in 13th. Ryan Newman just outside the top 10. The 22 of Jason Tutterow, almost contact right there. But those guys certainly are some of the slower cars on the racetrack. John Holloman in that black and pink number 69. We get back up front to Justin Bonsignor, who's opened up a little bit of an advantage over second place running Luke Baldwin.
That lead is starting to build every time around the track, as Ramo trying to fight off Burt Myers as well as Bobby Labonte. Here's Labonte aggressive to the top lane, trying to get around Burt Myers. Ramo in his way.
Burt Myers trying to keep it nice and easy on the bottom. Labonte almost all over the back bumper of Ramo. Little wiggle out of Burt Myers as well. Remember, this is a championship contender, that black and white number 1 car of Myers. Top running competitor, finishing competitor at the end of 99 laps amongst the 5 championship contenders will get the title. Bobby Labonte gets the spot on Burt Myers, so Labonte after that early race spin back up to 7th.
Labonte looking for more as he's going to try and continue to the outside of Ramo. This is a great battle. Heading out of turn 2, and Labonte's going to gain that position.
So Labonte gets the spot. He keeps on going. Now Labonte has been running kind of like Luke Baldwin, significantly higher than anybody else. Kimball right there in the number 43 car. Burt Myers now has moved to the top group. There's Danny Bone as well. You mentioned Danny Bone right behind this in the number 24 as Myers and Kimball go side by side. Bone with those 7 straight top 5 finishes and that win at Carteret County Speedway on Labor Day weekend. He's the guy, he's like a stealth bomber. At the end of the race, you expect Danny Bone to be there.
That you do, and whether it is in the hunt or just flipping on to fifth, you expect Danny Bone to be there until the end. I expect the best performance that we've seen coming down the stretch from Bone all year tonight.
Bone is in the 10th spot, and that Amerifast number 24. Behind him, by the way, a good run for Johnny Keevan in the yellow number 48. But this is among the best battles on the racetrack because Ramo, I feel like that car after charging hard early on, he's locked down in the 7th position. But I think that car is giving away a little bit right now for Sammy Ramo.
I think so, and you see it go from more of an offensive play to try and gain position to now almost playing defense against Burt Myers, trying to keep him behind his bumper. Myers has struggled just a little bit gaining position on this track. Kind of feel like he's been bullied around to start this race, but everybody knows that Burt Myers is going to have some kind of trick up his sleeve.
Yellow flag comes out. Oh, big. Looked like big damage for a second, but maybe just a spin for the number 11 car here on the racetrack, making his first start with the series out of Canada. It's Norman Newman. So Newman's been involved in a couple of mishaps here today. He and Jimmy Wallace got locked up earlier, and Wallace went for a spin, and now the 11 car of Norman Newman goes for a spin as well.
So it looked to be just a spin as Norman Newman will continue his way around the track.
So Bonsignor wins, 38 laps to go in this one. The top championship contender so far in Smart is Luke Baldwin. We'll go green again in just a moment. Cars coming down pit road right now, 61 laps into this one. Good chance for these teams to come down, make some adjustments, and take on that one tire that they have at their disposal to go to the end of this race. 99 laps is the total distance here today. Baldwin, Bonsignor, everyone coming down pit road. I'm not sure who's going to stay out here. John Holloman, I see a car that has stayed out on the racetrack, but it looks like everybody coming down to make some adjustments.
Yeah, most definitely. It looks like maybe we're going to get 4 or 5 racers that stay out on the track, but like you had mentioned, everybody else coming down pit road. This is the chance to make that move, adjust the car however you feel, to have that final push across the last 38 laps here at North Wilkesboro. We're going to keep an eye on the cars that are remaining out on the track currently, but
Derek, what's going on pit road?
Well, it's right rear tire time. They're doing the tire swaps on the left side, and they're putting a brand new right rear tire on the car for more drivability. The adjustments that a lot of the crews are making, they're swapping the left side, the front to the rear to the front in order to get that stagger change that they're looking for. You can see crews bringing out the measuring tape. They're all making a stagger adjustment. Very few wedge adjustments to the car. Maybe a track bar adjustment a little bit for the 23 of Carson Lofton. But this is that tire stop that all these guys expected to come in for. Put on that brand new right rear tire, swap the left side tires to get the adjustment right, and get back out there and run to the checker.
And these guys will feel pretty good for a few laps at least with that new right rear tire. There you see Luke Baldwin. Good shot here from our Carolina Drilling Citrus Safe drone coverage. Baldwin in the 7VA, the yellow and black machine. Behind him is Carson Lofton in the 23. Behind him, the red and black 24. Those are 3 championship contenders in a row. And actually, all 5 are right in a row. But there is Lofton, 16 years old. Those 5 wins this year. That's his dad, Brian Lofton, at the right front of that machine, making sure that they have everything set on how they want. Checking the sway bar right now is Brian Lofton, who's a 9-time winner on the Smart Modified Tour as well.
And like you had mentioned, he's had multiple chances to race with his son so far this year. They raced last week at South Boston, but right now Carson Lofton is putting up the family name, hoping for that Smart Modified Championship.
These teams, just to let you know, you see a lot of cars pulling off a pit road right now. This is a controlled caution. So all the teams that come down pit road, you don't lose your spot amongst the other competitors that come down pit road. Now, if somebody stayed out in the racetrack, they can start ahead of the guys that came down pit road, but you do not lose a spot, and that is for safety measures as well as cost-cutting measures for these teams so they don't have to bring too many people to the racetrack, because the more people you bring, the more costly it gets.
Yeah, most definitely, and we know with Cup Series how a split-second difference can mean 6-7 positions, but with the control caution, like you had mentioned, it's a lot safer, and it allows for a chance. Everybody's on even playing field. You can go in, make sure you maintain your position, get that new tire, and get back out on the racetrack right where you left it.
There is Ryan Newman. Remember that damage from that contact with Matt Hirschman, who was spinning. Ryan Newman had nowhere to go, made contact with the left front. They've been working on that race car furiously here to make sure it gets back, and still a long way to go in this one. Ryan Newman, you keep on making those adjustments. Hopefully they got it right at this caution, and he could be coming through the field.
He could, and we saw at South Boston last weekend how Ryan Newman was sitting right about that 10th position with 20 laps to go, and all of a sudden he was on the bumper of Burt Myers for that green-white checkered to finish out the race at the Battle of Sobo. So you can never count out Ryan Newman. We've seen what Bobby Labonte has been able to do, as looking to the front of the field, it's John Holloman. The Citrus Safe Choose code is out on the back stretch. He'll decide to go to the outside. So we will rebunch the field. Once again, it seems like it's been a popular spot for drivers to take the inside lane. And we're going to go down to Derek.
Ran over to the 7VA pit of Luke Baldwin, talked to his crew chief, Neil Cantor, said, "Are you guys still riding anymore?" And he says, "No, we got the stagger adjustment that we needed on the car. There's only 40 left. It's time to go for a championship," he said.
We're getting down to the nitty-gritty. It's go time tonight for all of these competitors. Was just listening to Danny Bone on the radio, and Bone a little bit further back than he wants to be right now, but at the same time, they've tried to dial in that race car, get it better. If we have another caution, we'll try to talk to Danny Bone and Luke Baldwin. They were just way too busy to talk to us during that pit stop sequence, because this is their time to make those adjustments, because that's it. You got what you got at this point, most likely, and you're going to be going after this championship.
And Hirschman, who stayed out, he got knocked out earlier in the race by Jake Crum, or at least knocked him back further in the pack, does not pit here, and you see him starting in that front row. He'll be in second position as we come across with 38 to go.
Hirschman and John Holloman, the front row for this one. Holloman, 2 wins in the NASCAR Modifieds at Bowman Gray Stadium this past year. There's Luke Baldwin. Baldwin trying to move up to the 3rd spot. Bonsignor on the inside is that 51 car. And it looks like, I thought Baldwin might get trapped behind Holloman. Holloman moves out of the way. Now it's Hirschman, Bonsignor, and Baldwin, your top 3.
Right behind him is Carson Lofton. It's been a familiar sight with Lofton in 4th and Luke Baldwin in 3rd. They've kind of been working in tandem at times to push further up into the pack, but we're right back where we started this race, Bob, with Hirschman up in 1st, Bonsignor in 2nd, Luke Baldwin, the leader of the 5 potential champions, in 3rd, but Carson Lofton hot on his tail.
John Holloman, he's got like the parachute right now. He stayed out. Everybody with fresher rubber on that right rear, trying to move by contact. Burt Myers, championship contender, gets into another championship contender, Danny Bone in the 24. Bad break for 2 title contenders here today at North Wilkesboro.
And all of that is started from that black and pink 69, John Holloman, who, like you had mentioned, it seemed like he had a parachute on the back of his car and got stuck in the middle of traffic, nowhere to go. Contact ensues. And man, oh man, we can see 2 potential championship contenders out of the race.
Bad break for several drivers in this one, but we focus in on those championship contenders. Danny Bone, major damage to that race car. You see the right front is junked on that car. Burt Myers is up against the inside retaining wall, and it appears like he's got broken front suspension on the number 1 car. A driver that we haven't mentioned, several cars scattered throughout the front stretch here as the red flag does come out. This is just 2 of the 4 cars that are heavily damaged out of this one. Danny Bone right there in the number 24. We talked about Burt Myers. Burt Myers' championship hopes might be done right now. The number 43 car also involved, that's Matt Kimball. And then the 79 car of Anthony Bello has some significant damage to his front end as well. All those drivers going to have to go on the hook. Danny Bone talking right there to Kimball. We're going to take a look at what transpired here, and it was all surrounding the 69 black car. A little contact with Sammy Ramo kind of bottled things up. We'll take another look at it right there and see there was contact right behind the 2 initial drivers that made contact. Watch Burt Myers and Danny Bone. Myers kind of checks up because Sammy Ramo checks up. Myers shoots up the racetrack into the 24 of Bone, and both of those drivers' championship hopes might be done.
They might be, unfortunately, but John Holloman, you see him kind of slow up. That's when Ramo gets into him, and it's a chain reaction from there on out. Anthony Bello also taken out in the destruction. You can see his car there. We check back in on Burt Myers as he is out of the vehicle, helmet off, taking a look at what looks like that left rear tire to try and evaluate what the true damage is.
Yeah, not only does he have, front end suspension damage, but I think something is wrong in the rear end, and that's what Burt Myers is looking at right now on his race car. Bad break for Burt Myers. He and Danny Bone were side by side, championship contenders, just trying to work their way to the front. Holloman stays out. Sometimes this happens. He doesn't have that fresh rubber. He's going to the rear. A little contact with Sammy Ramo, and it triggers the incident behind them. And that's really what happened here. We saw the replay. We're going to try to queue up one more, but that's the Anthony Bello Hillbilly Motorsports ride. The Sun Drop number 79. He, too, has some significant damage to the front end of that machine.
And it doesn't look like the 4 cars that have, or it looks like actually the 43 of Matt Kimball able to at least move up the racetrack a little bit further, but Danny Bone currently being hooked up to the tow truck. Anthony Bello's being driven off, and Burt Myers having a conversation right outside of his car. And it looks like good bit of damage to the front of that car, and Burt Myers continuing to evaluate.
See Burt Myers kind of give a kick to the Nerf bar. He knows his championship hopes are over at North Wilkesboro. Three-time champion and defending champion. One win to his credit this year for Burt Myers. Let's take a look at what happened here again between these cars coming off of turn number 4 with our Flow Racing replay. A little bit of a slow-mo. Watch that 06, that red and black machine. Kind of gets into the 69 of Holloman, but then has to check up. Burt Myers tries to check up, slams into the back of the 06, and then gets right into Danny Bone. Kimball also involved. Look at Ryan Newman in the orange and white number 2, able to just sneak his way by. Good racing, good driving by Ryan Newman. One more look at it right here. Watch Ramo, that contact, then he checks up, sliding high, and Burt Myers with his right front into him loses control of that race car because of that contact, and a hard hit for Danny Bone into the outside wall here off of turn number 4. Watch Newman, look at Newman in that orange and white machine, avoiding Burt Myers, avoiding a Nerf bar and Danny Bone to keep his hopes alive for a championship.
And if you're Burt Myers, there's nothing you could do there. That contact with the front right shoots you straight up the track, and that's what caused the catastrophic crash between himself and Danny Bone. As there's Anthony Bello in the pits, his car was towed to that position. You can see that front right tire sustained some damage. Like some officials checking on his vehicle as well.
We will go back to our Racing Electronics in-car communication, and Luke Baldwin having a good run in this one. Right now sitting in the 3rd spot. Luke, how are things shaking out so far?
They're shaking out good. Got a really good race car, just got to stay smart.
How good is this race car? Do you have enough to contend for this win with Hirschman and Bonsignor in front of you?
Race car is really good. I always have a winning race car. It's whether I can do it. But we'll see when we get some green flag laps here, and hopefully we can get them.
What do you think about this racetrack tonight? It seems like you've been running that outside groove, to perfection, but it seems like it's got so much grip you can almost go anywhere. What are you thinking right now as we get towards the conclusion of this race?
It's still pretty top dominant. It's just the amount of drive and momentum you can carry around the top here is pretty spectacular, especially in 1 and 2. It's really racy on these restarts, which is cool. We're just going to have to see how it plays out long run.
Luke Baldwin, we wish you the best of luck in this race win, this championship battle, to you, your team, and your entire family.
Thanks, Bob.
Luke Baldwin, I tell you what, he is so mature behind the wheel of this race car for an 18-year-old. He comes in and had only run crate modified events coming into this season. Gets this high-profile ride with S&S Racing, Bill Stanley, Hermie Sadler, and now battling for a championship in his rookie season with a Smart Modified Tour. He had never competed with the high horsepower tour type modified world before this season.
And just such a composed driver as well. He's so calm with his demeanor. You really never see him riled up. Loves interacting with the fans, and we're going to take a look down close up with Anthony Bello as they look at that front right. It looks like the tire's just been pushed straight off the wheel well.
Yeah, bad break for Anthony Bello coming off of that top 10 run for him at South Boston Speedway. Another one of the Racing Electronics Rookie of the Year contenders here in the Smart Modified Tour, powered by Pace-O-Matic. That chrome horn, gone, basically, that front bumper, that right front suspension damage on that machine as well. But we're under red flag conditions here as we continue to clean up the cars in the front stretch. So that team just looking at the damage here to that 79 car for Anthony Bello, hoping to be back with the Smart Modified Tour next year as that driver cut his teeth in New England, 2-time SK Modified winner at Stafford Motor Speedway. So while we clean things up, and we got a lot to clean up on the front stretch here, including 2 championship contenders that are now out of the championship hunt. The championship still to be decided today at North Wilkesboro. We have been under red flag conditions, but now things seem to be getting picked up. We got the incident on the front stretch cleaned up. We're going to go to our racing electronics in-car communication with the leader of this race, Matt Hirschman. Matt, some interesting strategy because of what happened earlier in the race, but how good is that 60 car right now?
Well, I don't know that we have the speed that we had in practice and qualifying as far as the race goes. But yeah, just trying to make the best of the situation. Wasn't really anything else I thought I could do to try and gain back some track position. I don't know that it played out quite the way I would have liked, but just trying to make the best of the situation, and we made some adjustments to the damage to the car, and made some adjustments to the handling of the car, and we're kind of about to find out what we got, but we're at a disadvantage. Guys just got their tire and have a lot fewer laps on the right rear, but we'll do the best we can.
Before I let you go, Matt, what happened in that earlier incident and how damaged was that race car?
I'm not really sure what happened. It was my blind spot, but I got turned around, and the damage came from cars sliding into me, and I know some other cars got wrecked out there. So you would know better what happened than I do, but like I said, it put us behind, and just trying to recover and make something of this here tonight. Yeah.
Thank you, Matt. We appreciate you talking to us.
No problem. Thank you.
Danny Bone out of the championship hunt. He is standing by with Derek Pernasiglio.
Well, unfortunately, Danny Bone has had a roller coaster of a week. He was in the championship, then out of it, then back in it, now out of it again. And how stressful is this for you?
No, I mean, it's part of racing. We knew going into tonight that with 5 of us racing for the championship that it was going to, all gloves were off. So, hate it for the Amerifest team. We had a hell of a year. We had 7 top 5s in a row until tonight. So, first DNF in, 10 races or so. But, thank Amerifest for the opportunity, all my crew. Obviously came up short, but, we weren't that great. I think we probably could have, got up there, ran in the top 5, but, a couple of these cars are pretty quick. So, unfortunate end, but, thankful for the opportunity. We'll be back next time.
Can you tell us what happened out there, what you saw from your point of view unfold in front of you?
A couple cars didn't pit there, and they were on older tires. The outside lane, it looked like the 69 was holding us up, and then I think Bert got into somebody, and he just shot straight across the racetrack, put me right in the fence. So, just part of racing.
Well, unfortunately, he's going to take the long walk back to his garage area. The 24 of Danny Bone is out of the 2024 Smart Modified Tour Championship, Bob.
Danny Bone, that team with Buddy and Lisa have a lot to be proud of in terms of their performance this year, especially from where they started with a little inconsistency to be as consistent as they were over the last stretch going into this finale.
So you now got 3 out of the 5 contenders still on the racetrack, and right now they're all trying to track down Matt Hirschman, who sits in first. And something interesting, when you start to dig a little bit deeper, Austin Beers, who sits in 5th, both of them from Northampton, Pennsylvania. What's the story there, Bob?
Well, it gets even more interesting because not only are those 2 drivers, Matt Hirschman and Austin Beers, both from Northampton, Pennsylvania, they also live on the same street, Mud Lane in Northampton, Pennsylvania. And we mentioned the family connections. Eric is Austin's dad, and Tony is Matt Hirschman's dad. Both of those drivers very good in their own right behind the wheel. Tony, a 5-time NASCAR Wheel and Modified Tour champion. And then Eric has won so many races, from the Race of Champions Modified Series to the NASCAR Wheel and Modified Tour. But how about so much talent, not only coming from one town, but one street in Northampton, Pennsylvania with those 4 drivers.
No kidding, and I feel like Mud Lane, that is a very fitting name for that road for them to be living on. And just this beautiful drone shot we've got as night has completely covered North Wilkesboro Speedway. And you saw with the interview with Danny Bone, you could see his breath. It is cold out here, Bob. We are going to get down close to the low 40s tonight. Currently, it's sitting right about 50 degrees, but it is chilly out there.
Anthony Bello, that team, Hillbilly Racing, trying to get that car back out on the racetrack. He has an opportunity to pick up some spots in the overall point standings at the end of this one, so every lap counts here at North Wilkesboro. Back down to Derek.
Well, Burt Myers was one of the championship contenders. He was involved in that incident on the front straightaway. Good to see that you're okay, but can you tell us what you saw happen from your seat?
I think a lot of it was car trying to start up front on old tires, and it just stacked the field up. And I don't know, the 06 checked up, I checked up, and then we just piled into each other. But it's unfortunate. We had a good car. It's just, man, this is tough because there's a preferred groove that you want to be in, and trying to get to that, you just need clean air. But it just wasn't our day.
How disappointing is it for you guys? You came into this last week as like one of the guys on the out. You won your way in. Of course, everything happened during the week, and you come close to coming to the title today.
Well, we're disappointed that we're out of the race. I told you earlier, we came today to try to win this race. The points were going to fall where they did. We're just disappointed with the outcome and that the cars tore up and the situation where it happened. But it's called racing, not winning.
That's Burt Myers. He's out of the race today. Unfortunately, he will not win the Smart Modified Tour Championship, but he does have his 11th Bowman Gray Track Championship to his credit this year.
Indeed, good season for Burt Myers nonetheless. We are coming back to Green Flag Racing. Still plenty to go in this one. 36 circuits remaining. A little slip up there by Justin Bonsignor. He and Hirschman race into turn number 1 side by side. Bonsignor with the fresher rubber than Matt Hirschman. Here, Hirschman carries that momentum on the outside.
You see the battle for third going on right behind between two championship contenders, Luke Baldwin and Carson Lofton. Baldwin's going to lock up that third position, but that's not good enough for him. He's going to try and hunt for second.
Hirschman is so good behind the wheel. On the outside, Justin Bonsignor on the inside. The top two going for it here. Baldwin doesn't know which way to go. Baldwin says, maybe it'll be the inside, maybe it'll be the outside. Indeed, it is the inside. Justin Bonsignor back to the front here at North Wilkesboro with 34 laps to go. Baldwin into second. Hirschman back to the third spot. Battle for fourth. The 179 of Austin Beers. Little contact with championship contender Carson Lofton. Close call for the kid Carson Lofton.
Great job holding on there after the contact. Austin Beers racing aggressive. Ducks down to the inside lane. Lofton able to hold him off as we head out of turn 4.
The 69 of John Holloman on that old tire. And he's just holding on right now. Labonte trying to get behind him, and there's Ryan Newman as well. Newman starting to work his way into a possible championship contention. Holloman has 7th, Labonte in the 8th spot, and Newman in 9th.
There's Newman, as you see. He's going to try and slip on the top side of the track here. Nothing there. Dives down to the bottom. He's going to try and follow the slipstream of Labonte.
Oh, contact from Newman to the back bumper of Bobby Labonte. Wiggled the 18 car. Holloman, though, he's in that preferred groove that Hirschman was talking about, that outside groove, and it's tough to pass right now at this stage of the race on the inside. Labonte finally breaks free of Holloman. Here comes Newman as well.
Newman's going to try and stay on that exact same line as Labonte. He's going to be unsuccessful coming out of turn 4, but he's going to have another look at it coming into turn 1. There he goes, ducking down. We'll see if he has the speed to get to the back stretch. Doesn't look like he'll be able to do it out of turn 2.
And you might say, hey, John Holloman, get out of the way. He's on the lead lap. He's in a top 10 spot right now in 8th, and only his 2nd start of the year, so he has every right to any groove on the racetrack he wants. It's up to Ryan Newman to try to muscle his way by.
And if you're Ryan Newman right now, there's a little bit of frustration because you know the laps are counting down. 28 to go. Your two championship contenders, and Luke Baldwin and Carson Lofton, are sitting pretty in the top 5. You've got to make a push. But right now, stubbornness out of that 69 car.
And Joey Coulter in the 02 machine making his presence felt for the first time really today, running in 10th. Newman going to be able to clear John Holloman coming off of turn number 4. Now Coulter going to try to fill the hole and get by the 69. Can't get the momentum to get to the inside just yet, but now Ryan Newman has broken free. He's in 8th, and now we'll try to charge to the front of the field.
Ramo trying to get himself back in the picture as well. He was part of that big contact that took out both Burt Myers and Danny Bone. He sits behind Joey Coulter.
There's Johnny Keedman in the yellow 48, the 21 Carolina drilling machine for Jimmy Wallace. Those two drivers just outside the top 10 in 12th and 13th. Coulter finally there alongside of the 69 car. 69 car, very famous around this area at North Wilkesboro Speedway. Back in the day, driven that 69 car, contact between Ramo and Holloman, but the 69 car back in the day, Junior Miller, and he's a three-time winner here, the king of the Southern Modifieds.
Yeah, going back to when Joey Coulter was able to pass that 69 car, it was a bump for Ramo in the back to help give him that extra boost. Now Ramo around him as well.
Jason Myers in that QRC HVAC and refrigeration machine. Oh, contact from Jimmy. In the 21, another wrap on the back bumper to Johnny K. Jimmy Wallace and Johnny K going at it. And listen, Johnny Keevman trying to get by the 69 right now. He's a wheelman. He's run modifieds, he's run Pro Cup, he's run super late models, you name it. A winner back in the day, the driver of that 48 at New Smyrna Speedway, at Hialeah Speedway, and so many others. Orlando Speed World back in the day when he was running super late models.
That
Here we go.
For the 11th position, we're going to take a look as Crum looking to get around Lofton. He's going to be able to do so. Austin Beers follows in line with Carson Lofton. He's going to have to try and hunt on the inside lane to retake that position from Jake Crum. But Crum with open air soaring away.
20 laps to go, and you got to wonder, is the championship falling from the grasp of 16-year-old Carson Lofton? He loses one spot, one lap, loses another one right now. So Carson Lofton back to 6, while Luke Baldwin, the top championship contender, is in 2nd.
You gotta wonder, it's looking like Lofton struggling to keep pace with Austin Beers. You wonder if that race car is at 100% right now.
Right now, it's difficult. You take on that right rear tire. Did you get the adjustments right? Because all the other tires are a little bit worn out from all the laps on this racetrack. So with 18 to go, Lofton's look good, but not as good as his championship rival, Luke Baldwin, now pulling up to the back bumper of Justin Bonsignor. Bonsignor with Old Reliable, the car that he has won with this year on the NASCAR Wheel of Modified Tour until they debuted a new car in the most recent race at Thompson Speedway. But Bonsignor, now, as he mentioned, a team based in Mooresville, North Carolina. Baldwin looks to the inside. Here comes Luke Baldwin, trying to not to make contact with that right front on the back bumper of the 51.
And it would be so easy for Luke Baldwin right now to just say, hey, let's sit back in the 2nd position. We've got the championship wrapped up, but why not go for the win here at North Wilkesboro? If that determination and hunger wasn't shown right there, I don't know how else to convey it.
But look at Bonsignor. Justin Bonsignor in the 51, calm, cool, and collected. Did not get rattled whatsoever when Baldwin went after him. Kept his line, kept smooth on the throttle, and now has advanced his lead by about a car length.
Like you had mentioned, he's run this car so much this year that it's gotta feel like going back to Old Reliable for Bonsignor, continuing to run out front. 14 to go, and those laps will churn down very quickly. These cars running right about 17.5 seconds around this racetrack. So this race can get away pretty quickly. Luke Baldwin's going to try and take any opportunity that he can. Baldwin looking to the inside. Bonsignor holds him off, diving down into turn 3, heading out of turn 4.
Ooh, sideways for Luke Baldwin. Hold on to that. Baldwin is fishing right now, trying to find out where he can get that run, going high to low, figuring out if he has an opportunity not only to win this championship, but the race as well, and get to go up on that lift into the coveted North Wilkesboro victory lane. Hirschman still not far behind. He still sits in 3rd in that black 60. Next time by, it'll be 10 laps to go for Justin Bonsignor. Damage to the 25 car of Tom Buzzy. He's slow on the inside, still trying to collect positions and points in the final tally for the Smart Modified Tour powered by Pace-O-Matic. Hirschman is gaining ground on the top pair, and the top pair going to come up on some slower traffic that could be pivotal late in this race.
Trevor Hirschman's running on old rubber right now. Didn't take that tire change, but still able to maintain pace for that 3rd position. Here's where it can get interesting, Bob. Traffic coming up on the racetrack. Luke Baldwin wiggles just a little bit there again. However, this could be an opportunity for Luke Baldwin if the leader's able to get in traffic, but Baldwin's having trouble keeping that car straight on the racetrack with 8 to go.
Baldwin was going for it there, got sideways, and that might be the end run for him in terms of the win here today, but he's still got a championship to fight for.
He does, and hey, you can't wreck out at this point in the race with that championship so close to your grasp. Hold that second position, even that third position, and that championship is yours. As Bonsignor continuing to move through traffic, Baldwin trying to continue to keep pace, and Hirschman right on his bumper.
Baldwin has not given up. He says he has a good race car, as he told us on the Racing Electronics onboard communication. He's trying to gather up Justin Bonsignor, who sits about 3 car lengths ahead of him here in that 51 machine. But at the same time, he's worried about Matt Hirschman. Matt Hirschman, one of the cleanest racers that I know, not super aggressive, doesn't like to put the bumper to somebody. Hirschman goes to the bottom. At this point, Luke Baldwin's got to say, I want the championship. Let me let that 60 go.
Yeah, and you saw how many times he got loose and almost put the car into the wall. I think it's a good move right there. Lay back just a little bit. Make sure that you are racing safe. Hey, it's still a top 3 if you continue in this position. And now, in the mind of Hirschman, he's going to try and race down Bonsignor and try and take this victory.
This is prototypical Matt Hirschman. There when it counts. A few car lengths separate Hirschman with 3 to go from leader Justin Bonsignor. Does he have time with now 2.5 circuits to go to catch Bonsignor? But catching him and passing him, certainly 2 different things.
Our other 2 championship contenders, Carson Lofton at 7, Ryan Newman behind him at 8. So right now it is Luke Baldwin championship to lose.
Bonsignor, Hirschman is there. Can Hirschman clear John Holliman? He does. He's closing in. The white flag is coming out in the air. 1 more circuit to go for Justin Bonsignor. Matt Hirschman is there. Almost a little love tap coming off of turn number 2 as Bonsignor tries to protect his line. Justin Bonsignor trying to win at North Wilkesboro Speedway for the first time. Off of turn number 4, Justin Bonsignor will win the race, but Luke Baldwin wins the war and the Smart Modified Tour powered by Pace-O-Matic Championship. How about that? Bonsignor with a big win in his illustrious career, but a career day for Luke Baldwin as the 2024 champion of the Smart Modified Tour powered by Pace-O-Matic. A pretty dominating performance today for that driver, the 51. He's happy. And this will set himself up well for tomorrow's NASCAR Wheel of Modified Tour race. Let's go down to pit road and Derek.
Well, it's a very happy crew down here in the 7 pit. Tommy Baldwin jumps in, Phil Stefanelli, the S&S team is here, but I'm here with Neil Cantor. I know how good he is because he used to be my crew chief. You gotta tell us what's going through your mind right now. You started as an upstart this year, and now you've got the championship.
I don't even know what to say, man. You know, we can't say enough about Luke. First year in the Tour Mod. Win 2 races, win this championship. Everybody that works at PSR, Phil, for giving me this opportunity. Hermie Sadler, SS Racing, Pace-O-Matic. Man, we just can't thank everybody enough for giving us this opportunity, man. It's just unbelievable.
We'll see you in victory lane.
Thanks, Derek.
Neil Cantor, the S&S Racing Team, PSR Products, with Phil Stefanelli and Tommy Baldwin helping them, wins the 2024 Smart Modified Tour Championship, powered by Pace-O-Matic.
Let's put this in perspective. Luke Baldwin is just 18 years old. He had not run a tour-type modified race until this season with the first race of the year. And just a handful of starts, Luke Baldwin is celebrating as the Smart Modified Tour powered by Pace-O-Matic Championship, and he has this ride locked up for a defense of his title in 2025.
And hey, you got to be on top of the world right now at 18, taking that championship home. He's going to burn this thing down, burn some rubber, and rightfully so. A dominating race all day. Never really saw the front of the pack, all that clean air in first, but he didn't need to. He did exactly what he needed to win this championship, maintain good pace, still race aggressive, and you saw going down to the final laps, he wanted that victory so bad, but the championship, of course, what's on the mind of Luke Baldwin as he drops the net, and we're about to get a celebration with the team.
The team congratulating Luke Baldwin. That car, I don't know if it can fire once again to get to where it needs to go. So maybe just have the party right there on the middle of the front stretch here at North Wilkesboro Speedway. Baldwin climbs out. He's the champion this year of the Smart Modified Tour powered by Pace-O-Matic.
Look at the emotion. I mean, I talked about it earlier. Usually so calm, so charismatic, and this just a huge yell of excitement as he steps out of the car and waves the flag.
And this is going to be a special moment, Derek. Tommy Baldwin down there with his son, the champ this year, Luke Baldwin.
All around, father and son embracing here on the front straightaway. Tears. Luke Baldwin, come on over here, kid. You started this season off as a rookie in the division in Upstart, 5th place in your very first start, and today you walk away with the Smart Modified Tour Championship. Can you believe this moment?
No, not at all. I mean, I've told a couple people that just 4 years ago I'm sitting in my room playing iRacing, praying for something like this. Oh my, I can't believe it. This one's, hold on, one second. This one goes out for my buddy Dixon. This is his bucket hat. We miss him like hell. He was with me tonight. Oh my God, I can't thank everybody enough at Pace-O-Matic, Sadler Stanley Racing. I've said it a couple times, but I don't know if I'd be racing right now if it wasn't for Hermie Sadler and Bill Stanley. This is unbelievable.
When you started the year off, was championship even on your mind, or was it just to gain experience?
Well, I mean, it was on my mind for sure. You know, anyone that's competitive wants to go out and win a championship. But I mean, the main goal was to go out and gain experience, and we did that for damn sure. Oh my God, this is unbelievable.
Now, getting back into the late stages of the race, how much of a balance was it to try to catch Justin Bonsignore to win the race and also be smart and win the championship?
Yeah, I think we were the better car for sure. It's just Justin, you know, he's got that northern racing blood, so he's hard to pass, and he made it hard on me, but I just need to be smart. My spotter told me the 23 was clear by the half a racetrack, so I don't want to say I backed off because I still gave it all I had, but you know, I was a little careful at the end.
Bob, he's 18, he's a rising star, he's Luke Baldwin. The champ is here.
The grandson of the Tiger, Tom Baldwin. Tommy Baldwin, his dad, a Daytona 500 winning crew chief with Ward Burton back in the day. Celebration all around for Luke Baldwin here tonight. He mentioned there's his brother, Jack, an App State student up in Boone, North Carolina. This family, here's the ironic twist to tonight. Justin Bonsignore is going to celebrate in Victory Lane. He is from Long Island, New York. The Baldwin family from Long Island, New York. Yes, Luke was born around the Mooresville area of North Carolina, but his dad, Tommy, and Tom, his granddad, actually from Long Island. There's Long Islander Justin Bonsignore, the winner of the Smart Finale tonight, climbing out victorious in Victory Lane here at North Wilkesboro Speedway. Derek's going to be wearing out a pair of shoes here, running to Victory Lane to get a word with Justin Bonsignore in just a second. But Justin came and did what this team needed to do. Go out there, learn today for tomorrow's race, and grab themselves a trophy. And they get the Banker's Life Smarty Trophy as the victor here tonight at North Wilkesboro.
Yeah, and you mentioned trying to just gain that experience. Why not pick up some hardware in the process, right? It is a celebration in Victory Lane, but none bigger than Luke Baldwin tonight. But Bonsignore, now with this experience, very intrigued to see what he's able to do tomorrow here at this track.
Derek probably a little worn out from running all the way up to Victory Lane, but let's go down to him. He's with the winner.
That's okay. I'm getting my cardio in for the day, and we've talked to Justin Bonsignore many times in Victory Lane in the past. First time here at North Wilkesboro, first time in the Smart Modified Tour. You just came and stunk it up tonight, didn't you? I said you were going to, didn't you?
I think it was anything besides stinking it up. Matt Hirschman is the ultimate at these tire-saving races, and yeah, he was charging hard there on old tires. We just got really free racing hard. But Luke, there, congrats to Tommy, the whole 7 team, everybody involved with that deal, another Long Island group. So really happy for Luke. They're a great family. I've been becoming really close with over the last couple of years, and yeah, we had a really good car in the beginning, and you know, Matt was able to flip the strategy after getting crashed, and you never can count him out even on older tires. And I knew we had to pounce hard for, you know, early on that run, and I was able to get to the lead, and then car just like a light switch with the one right rear only. We don't do that often in our series, so we're not really accustomed to the adjustments we need to make. And car was just giving up there just too much drive. And I think if that was anybody besides Matt Hirschman on the last lap, we're probably in the fence. So just a big kudos to him and just how much respect he has when he races people. And just want to thank everybody, Phoenix Communications, ClearCom IT Solutions, Fury Race Cars, Robert Yates Engines, M3 Technologies, the whole team. You know, this is tough to do these double races back to back. It's going to be a late night tonight and you got to be back here early tomorrow. So I'm just going to thank Ryan Stone, the pit crew. JoJo didn't mess up today. That was good. So Ken and Janine Massa, just everybody. My son's probably sleeping, but if he's watching, give him a little wave. And appreciate all the fans coming out. And we had a good time here with the Smart Tour. Who knows, maybe we'll run some more next year.
How much of today was gathering data for the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour race for tomorrow?
A little bit of just coming here to have fun, and you know, our shop's an hour away. We were planning to come here even if the race didn't get postponed. So, but it doesn't hurt for sure. I know we're going to race in the heat of the day tomorrow, but just learning restarts and lanes and all the little nuances of a freshly paved track, it'll help us tomorrow. So hopefully we have 2 wins here 2 weeks in a row. We just got to keep this going for another 8 days, I guess. No, 7 days, 2 more races, and hopefully we can close this deal out strong.
You've raced in quite a few modified series. What do you think of the Smart Modified Tour?
I really I give Chris Williams and the whole group here, Pace-O-Matic, everybody involved with the series a lot of credit. We had a lot of fun today. They were very welcoming to us, and Chris has been helping us with just little things of learning their schedules and everything for a couple weeks now, and we're really happy to be here. And like I said, our shop's close by now, so maybe we'll poke in every now and then. It's just one plane ride away.
Guys, first start and first win for Justin Bonsignore and the Phoenix Communications team.
It's been a couple of weeks for Justin Bonsignore. The win last week at Thompson, the win tonight at North Wilkesboro. He'll go for the hat trick tomorrow here at North Wilkesboro Speedway with the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour. You will be able to see that race live on Flow Racing. This one was a lot of fun. And Justin Bonsignore grabs that Bankers Life Smarty Trophy as the winner here today. 99 laps the distance here for this one for the Smart Modified Tour powered by Pace-O-Matic. Let's take a look at the highlights. It's Bonsignore and Matt Hirschman on the front row for this one. Those two were very dominant in this one. The championship equation also coming into play here. Some hard hits for several competitors, but some speed at this high grip racetrack as well. Carson Lofton, Luke Baldwin, the red 23 and the yellow and black number 7, trying to work their way through the field. Not a good night for Jonathan Cash, top 10 in points, but he winds up on the front stretch wall and into turn number 1, not happy with somebody that hit him. And then Hirschman goes around from the front bumper of Crum. Newman gets into it as well. And look at this one here. It takes out Burt Myers and Danny Bone, championship contenders. Ryan Newman just weaves his way by, but it was not Ryan Newman's night as well here at this racetrack. Look at that right there. Just damage and carnage on the front stretch. In the end, though, a big wiggle there hurt Luke Baldwin. He loses second, but still wins the championship. And it's Justin Bonsignore leading Matt Hirschman here in the late going to win the race. And it's Luke Baldwin grabbing the title, the first of his career, celebrating with the championship flag down on this historic racetrack as Bonsignore climbed out victorious. Wow, interesting, but remember, we're not done here. Yes, this was the conclusion of the Smart Modified Tour portion of a triple header. We still have the ZMAX Cars Tour late model stock cars coming up. Blake and Eric will be back in the booth. David and I are actually going to just go in the grandstands and watch this race. But remember, next year we will start at Florence Motor Speedway in South Carolina in March. And then at the end of March, we will go to the Pace-O-Matic King of the Modifieds at South Boston Speedway. A lot to come here for the Smart Modified Tour. But tonight we will celebrate that man. Luke Baldwin, 18 years old, crowned the champion of the Smart Modified Tour powered by Pace-O-Matic here tonight at North Wilkesboro. On behalf of everybody from the Smart Modified Tour, including Chris Williams and his staff, everybody from Flow Racing, what a fantastic crew we had here tonight with Dan, as well as Hoppy, my buddy from back in the day in the NASCAR ranks, Kyler Hope, and a whole lot more. We are excited to be here, but excited now to watch a great race for the Cars Tour late model stock cars. We'll be right back.